central government. That was their decision.
That was elected in Congress of COSATU.
Yes. But on the national, being SACP or COSATU did not follow a procedure as you told a fresh mandate. We need to get a fresh mandate before we sit a conference. Yes, we agree.
I slowed and clear. So far so good. The alliance still stands as the way it is. There are no changes. It's still alliance.
Yes.
What must happen is the aims and objectives that have been implemented in radical reconfiguration, which ANC must recognize.
And then now SACP now you should stand up. SACP why you stand up. Isho akusho yona qala ithi ready ayisho ithi ready but manje ilokithi ikubuyisela kuthina ayisho na ukuthi ithi ready
General Secretary and the members of the Central Committee who are here, the leadership from the ANC, they are going to be properly acknowledged. It's not my task. COSATU and other formations, as well as the members of the diplomatic corps who are going to be introduced. So I just want to start by making some welcoming remarks, comrades, to all of you. 2024 is a very important year for our country. It marks 30 years of our democracy. And it's the year that we are going to be having national and provincial elections throughout our country. But to remind ourselves, comrades, our democracy, much as we have made lots of strides, but our democracy will still remain inadequate for as long as the capitalist system is the main economic system in our country. That is a fact. As long as the wealth is still in the hands of a few, we will never fully realize. To remind ourselves, by the way, the late comrade Chrisani said, for as long as capitalism existing and consolidating the national democratic revolution, we need to be struggling for socialism at the same time. That is the relationship between the national democratic revolution and socialism. Uyohlala njalo ungaphelele noma ziziningi izinto esizenzile ezinhle uma ngaba amandla ezomnotho esahleli kuyidlanzana lonke. Therefore, comrades, in line with our own Congress commitment of building a powerful socialist movement, we need to use this year to deepen socialist education and socialist awareness, amongst the people. Because I always believe socialism is in the interest of the overwhelming majority of our people, but it's never always obvious. That is the role of the Communist Party, to use our old language to actually intensify socialist propaganda. City awareness, education, socialist propaganda. There is no shame in that, because every day they blast us with capitalist propaganda. We are also meeting, comrades, at the time when the capitalists are becoming more arrogant politically. They now want to contest the elections as the bourgeoisie directly themselves and take this country to rule it in their own interests. Amanye lamaqembu awomafika izolo avukayo kuvuka umuntu nje ujange emathuneni esingamazi ukuthi wayeyephi uvelaphi kuthi usezocontest election ufuna ukuba upresident ungxowankulu ayikho into anayo akanabo abantu eduze kwakhe unemali ufuna ukuzonithenga instead ukuze nivotele into eningayazi. So capital is becoming more arrogant. Part of the arrogance in capital, there is also an attack, comrades, on the Communist Party. Let's not underestimate that. It's intensifying. The first target to General Secretary Wait. Always when you become General Secretary, they compare you with the General Secretary before. They say we are unlike Nzimande. When I started, they say we are unlike Magula. When Magula started, they say we are unlike Hani. So don't let that bother you. It's part of an attack to try and diminish your role as the leader of our party. We are not their leader, you are our leader of the workers and the poor in this country. Comrades, the problems we are facing. By the way, we are now talking about a new triple crisis, multiple crisis, triple. It's not the original crisis. There's the poverty, inequality, and unemployment. No, the fundamental original triple crisis is class exploitation, racial inequality, and gender inequality. Those are the three fundamental contradictions we are trying to address. Akumina ngizokhuluma General Secretary, but ngivumelekile ukuthi nginibingelele njengo-chairperson and make some initial remarks. Ngoba asikho kwezinye indawo sisento is capitalism. You know, the Zondo Commission did a great job. But where I don't agree with the Zondo Commission is saying, in order to fight state capture, we must follow examples of the private sector. How can we? Because the private sector has always been part of state capture itself. To us, the solution is progression towards socialism in South Africa. Now, comrades, it was not formed to go and solve people's individual problems. Who is the acting provincial chairperson of the SACP in the province? But I'm wondering at Jacob. Who busy? So when was the you are going to briefly welcome us, and then also we have asked to Comrade Umandla to recognize some of our very important comrades. I'm very reluctant sometimes to use guests, because guests is like you're an outsider. Our own special comrades who are with us here today. Comrade Mandla, over to you. Amandla! Away to Viva SACP, Viva! Viva! Forward to socialism, forward! Thank you very much, Comrade Plate, the national chairperson of the South African Communist Party. Comrades, in the interest of time, we are going to move as swiftly as possible to the next items in the agenda. But I think it is important that on behalf of the 12th Congress Provincial Executive Committee of the SACPA in Gauteng, we must first and foremost welcome, acknowledge the presence of our General Secretary, Comrade Solima Paila. The National Chair has already addressed us. We also welcome you, Comrade Plate. We also welcome all the members of the Central Committee that are here. There's so many of you, comrades, it will be impossible to call you by name, but all of you are indeed welcome. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome the leadership of the African National Congress. Today it is led by, as the National Chair has already said, it is led by the second Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Marupini Ramkhupa. We really welcome you and we thank you for taking time
to be with us today. I've also seen the comrades that we work very closely here in the province. The deputy chairperson of the ANC in the province, Comrade Nomantu. We also welcome you, and we thank you very much that you have taken time to be with us here today. The leadership of COSATU today is led by the Deputy President, Comrade Duncan. I've not seen him, but I'm told he's here. There is Comrade Duncan. Thank you on behalf of the workers of South Africa that you have taken time to be with us. We also acknowledge the presence of the chairperson of COSATU in the province, Comrade Amos Vusi Munyela. We really thank you for being with us. We also want to take this opportunity, comrades, to welcome the real MK in Hato. And there's quite a number of real delegates, the real soldiers of Umkhonto Wesizwe. Amasoja Umkhonto are here, comrades. We are going to acknowledge you proper when we give you the platform just to greet, because time is no longer on our side. We also welcome the leadership of the Communist Party of Swaziland, led by the General Secretary, Comrade Kenneth. We welcome the leadership of Pudemo, our strong and that dear to us. As you can see here next to us, the flag of Palestine remains very relevant and very close to our hearts. The struggle of the welcome Comrade Mulay Mohammed Fadel, who is here on behalf of the Sahrawi Republic. We also welcome the presence of the Belgium Communist Party, Comrade Fierce Thomas is here. Comrades, if I left you, it's not because it was deliberate or I do not like you. It's been omitted. But as the national chair said, all of you comrades are welcomed. Did I forget Cuba, comrades? How can I forget Cuba? Cuban people, lovely people. But I don't have so who must we blame, comrades? I don't have the I will leave the task to the provincial secretary, Comrade Jacob. When he comes to greet, he will ensure, Comrade Mamabolo, that you acknowledge comrades from the Cuban embassy, who I don't have. For some strange reason, I don't have them here. National Chair, do you allow me to proceed with the program to invite the next comrades who are coming to greet? Because comrades, you will know that as the National Chair said, he is the only one who's allowed to speak, to do opening remarks, because we are here to listen to the message from the General Secretary, Comrade Soli Mapaila. But there are few comrades who are here, comrades, on the program, who are just going to be invited to present messages of international solidarity, just to greet comrades. Not more than 2 minutes. I will start with the Communist Party of Swaziland. I hope I'm not skipping the program too much. The National Chair. Comrade Jacob, as you prepare yourself to acknowledge the comrades from the Cuban embassy, but in the interest of time, let me call the comrades from Swaziland just to come and greet. Comrade Kenneth.
Allah, Allah, viva SACP, viva, viva SACP, viva, forward to socialism, forward. Thank you, comrades, and thank to the chairpersons here for awarding us an opportunity to greet all of you here in the 2 minutes. And we confirm our support and solidarity to the South African revolution as a whole. And equally, we are part and parcel of the responsibility of resolving the problem in Swaziland, which now has reached a point where only an organized war of the people can bring the solution required. And we count on the strength of international solidarity and in the strength of the SACP. in the name of Comrade Slovo, we all commit ourselves into the struggle of the liberation of humankind and peace in the world. We wish this event an important and a strength to all of you as South African, as you live and organize yourself towards resolving the contradictions in your country that also reflect to contradictions that exist within the region and in the world. Solidarity forever.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kenneth. As we move swiftly, the only embassy that I have here on the program that is going to come and speak is the Embassy of the State of Palestine. Comrade Ambassador, please come to the podium to speak to us on behalf and in solidarity with the people of Palestine. Deputy Ambassador is going to address us, not the Ambassador. Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea!
Viva South Africa, viva! Viva, viva Palestine, viva! Viva, viva ANC, viva! Viva, viva Communist Party, viva! Viva, viva COSATU, viva! Viva SANCO, viva! Dear comrades, let me to see all the protocol observed. On behalf of the Ambassador of Palestine, allow me to express our sincere appreciation, heartfelt gratitude to South African people, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, the Parliament, the government, the Alliance, ANC, Communist Party, COSATU, SANCO, all the progressive political powers and unions, solidarity organization, who have demonstrated unwavering support for the Palestinian people during current barbaric war since October 7. Until this day, the Communist the icon struggle of Slovo and all heroes who contributed for achieving freedom and democracy for your friendly people, and who taught the world the meaning of the word Ubuntu. We also cherish the common historical relation of struggle created leaders was between Oliver Tambo and Khalil al-Wazir, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of Palestinian Revolutionary Forces of Balfour Declaration. He was the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, for granting Israel the home and dividing our countries. The result of the war of 1948, the first Nakba, it means the catastrophe of our people, uprooting more than 70% of the Palestinian people, destructing more 531 villages and towns, committing more 50 massacres, which this massacre still continue till today. Today the world witness in the second Nakba. Israeli crime today are state-organized terrorism, and we thank the effort of South Africa to charge Israel in International Court of Justice. Dear comrades, we appeal to the international community to put pressure on Israel to stop this barbaric war and to label Israel as apartheid state, including imposing all kind and sanction on Israel. Lastly, we wish the Alliance for achieving the overwhelming majority in upcoming election to protect upon values and all moral principle of democratic South Africa, as well as to secure a bright future for your children of this beloved country. Amandla. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy Ambassador. Long live the spirit of the people of Palestine. Long live. Comrades, without any waste of time, let me now move to the messages of solidarity from the National Secretary of the Young Communist League of South Africa, Comrade Mzwandile Takudi, who I did not acknowledge because I knew I was going to be calling to come and speak and address us. Comrade Mzwandile, over to you.
For state power, say us 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 for state power. Agenda is socialist. Agenda is socialist. Thank you, Comrade Acting Chairperson. Wish to greet, to acknowledge the SACP 15 Congress Central Committee, Party PB, NOBs, and our General Secretary, who most of the time is. We want to say, while our class adversaries, Comrade GS, see you as a fool, in you as the Young Communist League, we see a model of a selfless and a consistent Marxist and Leninist revolutionary. The ANC-NEC members is led by the second DSG, COSATU Deputy President and COSATU leadership, SASCO SG and other PYA leaders present, and most importantly the Red Brigades who are here present today. The embassies of Venezuela, Belgium, Palestine, and we greet Pudemo leadership as well as the Communist Party of Swaziland. This commemorative activity takes place during the year 2024, which we have declared the year of the district to mobilize, educate, and agitate the youth for socialism. We believe the theme is relevant and is consistent with the SACP's program of the South African struggle for socialism, to build a powerful socialist movement of workers and the poor. The year 2024 is equally the year of the 7th general and provincial elections. On these upcoming elections, while we want to elevate the question of the state of the youth, to say that majority of young people are living in poverty, majority of young people are destitute, majority of young people are unemployed, we want to say as a Young Communist League, we want to confirm our firm support, especially calling and rallying the youth in particular, and the public in general, to vote for an ANC-headed reconfigured alliance. This is because neither the multi-party nor these ghetto nationalists are committed to the program of transformation and social justice at best, but want to reverse it at worst. We are supporting the ANC-headed reconfigured alliance that has a common analysis on the state of the national democratic revolution that would preserve the party independence, that would have common and regularly convened consultation-seeking platforms to address the plight of the youth in particular and the working class in general against the onslaught of the neoliberal austerity, which is characterized and manifested through budget cuts that we have seen, that has also impact on matters of health, especially tuberculosis, have impact on NSFAS and other issues, sales of public assets like SOEs, among other issues. We support this alliance because we believe it has capacity to address the public outcry on water issues, on electricity, on youth development, lack of skills, poverty, and unemployment. We don't support it just because we like it or because of its history. We will not give this alliance a blank check. We want to also make an observation about the correctional services that is so aloof and reactionary. Last year, it released Janus Walus, and this year, it releases Oscar Pistorius against the public will. We are calling for the full implementation of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. No bail to the perpetrators and no parole for the perpetrators of the... This is because they pose a danger to the society. More especially when gender-based violence has been characterized as a pandemic. We call for the integrated crime and violence prevention strategy to integrate the National Drug Master Plan in this country, because we have noticed that we have an issue with the drugs, especially that also culminates into mental health and depression issues in this country. We support the firm stance of the South African government to approach the International Criminal Court on the Israel perpetuated genocide in Palestine. We lastly want to call on the ANC to expel Mr. Zuma, who is actively campaigning for a registered political party. Mr. Zuma is opportunist and he must be exposed for what he is. We want to say to the real Umkhonto Wesizwe that we must preserve the legacy of the People's Liberation Army against expropriation without compensation. Amandla! Away too! Forward to socialism, forward!
Viva YCL, viva! Long live Komsomo, long live! Chigitela, Ufasimba, Chigitela! PS, come to my rescue and deal with that small task that I was supposed to deal with, but I could not, just for a few minutes.
Amanda! Viva SACP, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva Sanko, viva! Viva Progressive Youth Alliance, viva! Malibongwe! Malibongwe! Thank you very much. Comrades, I feel very much honored, I must say, to the national chair and the acting chair in the province to be afforded the opportunity to execute a very important and special task on behalf of the party. And that is to formally acknowledge and appreciate of the leadership of Cuba in our country, led by the Cuban ambassador to South Africa, Gonzalez, who is sitting right here in the tent. Let's give them a thunderous round of applause in appreciation. Of course, the ambassador is not alone. He is joined, as it was already mentioned, by Comrade Brian Brito, who in simple terms the role he plays in the embassy is that of deputizing the ambassador. So he is here. Both of them would like to sincerely acknowledge you and appreciate your presence. Let me also take the opportunity to reaffirm, not only on behalf of the SACP, but the entire alliance, our unwavering commitment to solidarity, revolutionary people of Cuba. The criminal embargo against the people of Cuba. Comrades, let me also just say that the General Secretary, the young and revolutionary activity in Mpumalanga, and I'll leave that to the GS. But I just want to say to you, Ambassador, that we are deeply honored and privileged to have you here on this very important occasion for us. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate that. Comrades, the second task is to table and tender an apology on behalf of the Joe Slovo family. We have received an apology from Comrade Helena Dolny, who is well known amongst us. She has on many occasions managed to join us. She is the wife of our militant revolutionary Comrade Joe Slovo. She has tabled an apology, and we will convey the message that the apology was welcomed and accepted by all comrades. We really appreciate them having sent this apology, and we know that they often come and join us. That is highly appreciated and acknowledged. I'm told, comrades, all other comrades have been acknowledged, but once more let me join the national chair in just tabling an apology for the delays that we had. Otherwise, comrades, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you very much, Chair. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Nopala. Comrades, we're swiftly moving along with the program. We are now going to receive a message of solidarity from the real Umkhonto Wesizwe, the Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War veteran, Comrade Dan. If you are here, please come and represent the true Amasoja Umkhonto.
Long live the SACP, long live. Long live the African National Congress, long live. Long live COSATU, long live. Long live SANCO, long live. Long live Comrade JS, long live. Amanda. Program directors, the General Secretary, and all leaders that are here today. Before I deliver the message, I just want to, when it happened on the 16th of December, we immediately responded on the 17th of December. And we have made it clear that if people want to use our organization, as you have said, for their own individual purposes. They must not think that they're going to lose this army of the African National Congress, where many of us gave their lives for this freedom that we are enjoying today. We are clear where we stand with this organization. We know very well where it is coming from. And those who want to distort the history of this country because the emperor has been found to be naked, they must think twice. We do understand as members of Umkhonto weSizwe where this organization is coming from, together with this Communist Party. They were the first ones to sit down and talk, to say that enough is enough. The person who brought us here today, Comrade JS, he was part of that formation, and he remained part of that organization and that army until his death. We are not going to be swayed by people who think that everything is about themselves. When thousands of people in this country are looking towards this alliance for solutions of this country. Secondly, I'm happy to stand here and listen to the program directors welcoming our comrades from Cuba. And the reason is simple, dear comrades, is that when I finished my training in Angola, the late Comrade O.R. Tambo named our detachment the Moncada detachment. And Moncada is very significant in Cuba. It's a barrack that was named after a very popular general, General Guillermo Moncada. So I'm proud to stand here representing that detachment. When we were trained in Angola by the Cubans, we used to sing in our camps, Cuban people, lovely people, here we are, far from home. We shall need you, we shall love you, for the things you have done for us. These are the songs that used to bring us nearer home, comrades. In those days when you are in the camps and you look at the mountain, when you wake up the following day, you think that no, that mountain has moved, is nearer now. It's because we were thinking about home, comrades, nothing else. Comrades, today we are gathered here to celebrate a life lived for the betterment of society. A life of a visionary leader, a steadfast advocate for justice, and a stalwart champion of the oppressed, the late General Secretary of the South African Communist Party. His life's work has left an indelible mark on the pages of history, inspiring generations to come. Comrade JS, as he was popularly known in MK ranks, emerged as a beacon of hope amongst many South Africans. During South Africa's struggle against apartheid, a committed communist and a dedicated revolutionary who dedicated his life to dismantling the oppressive system that plagued our nation in those days. Comrade JS, fearless in the face of adversity, he fearlessly confronted injustice, racism, and inequality, championing the cause of the marginalized with unyielding determination. Comrade JS used to visit us in the camps, and he would demand to eat what we were eating. Rice with insects, sometimes rice with just some chilies. That was the former General Secretary of the Communist Party. As a General Secretary of the South African Communist Party, he played a pivotal role in shaping the country's political landscape. His strategic acumen and unwavering commitment to the principles of socialism served as a guiding force for the party, fostering unity and resilience during challenging times. Through his tireless efforts, he helped forge alliances that transcended ideological boundaries, uniting diverse voices in the pursuit of a more equitable and just society. That was what our communists were fighting for a just society, and they laid down their lives for that. And we cannot stand idle when some individuals want to turn that around and make it theirs, not during our watch. Beyond his political achievements, our departed leader was known for his deep compassion and empathy. He understood that the struggle for justice extended beyond political ideologies and encompassed the very fabric of human existence. His genuine concern for the well-being of the people, especially the downtrodden, adhered him to countless hearts. In the annals of history, Comrade Slovo's legacy will be etched as a testament to the power of unwavering conviction, resilience, and compassion. His contributions to the liberation of South Africa and his tireless advocacy for the principles of communism have left an enduring impact on the nation and the global community. As we remember the life of this remarkable leader, let us recommit ourselves to the ideals he held dear. Comrade Soli, you have a mammoth task. I am not saying you need to copy what the other general secretaries did. You are your own person, you are your own man. But we do not doubt your resilience, we do not doubt your commitment, because we know you also come from these detachments that we are talking about of Umkhonto weSizwe. Let his legacy be a call to action for all those who strive for a world free from oppression, inequality, and injustice. In commemorating his passing, let us honor his memory by continuing the work he dedicated his life to. A world where the principles of socialism and the pursuit of justice prevail. In remembering JS, let us expose the nakedness of the empire from Nkandla, who wants to deny that during his tenure, our organization, the ANC, was mired in countless corruption scandals, factionalism, and infighting. It was disingenuous, comrades, for the former president, for him to choose December 16 to make his announcement and want to detach Umkhonto weSizwe from the African National Congress. It is opportunism of the first order that we've never seen. It has never happened anywhere, comrade, that you become a member of another party and you go and vote for another party. Are we that stupid that will believe such? No, we are not. And it's not going to happen in our watch. I can assure you, Sihlalo Wamakomanisi, that our forces on the ground are busy working to put the chaff aside and move along with those who are prepared to defend this revolution. And they've made it clear that even if it means our lives, it is not just a slogan for us. We mean it. That if it means our life, we will defend this organization, because blood was spilled for where we are today, and we are not going to change today because somebody wants to solve his own personal problems. He keeps on saying for more than 20 years, I need my time in court. When that time is provided to him, Ushai corner. That we are not going to accept, comrades. This organization is where it is today because we left some of our comrades in Angola. We left some of our comrades in Zambia. Their bones still need to be picked up in those countries. I have no doubt, dear comrades, that Comrade JS would have been in the forefront of setting the record straight and reassure the public and members of MKLWV that Umkhonto weSizwe is the military wing of the ANC, which was established by the South African Communist Party and the African National Congress when they decided to embark on armed struggle against the apartheid regime. MKLWV would like to make it very clear that the so-called Umkhonto weSizwe party is fake and does not by any stretch of the imagination represent the disciplined and dedicated cadres of the authentic Umkhonto weSizwe. As a founding member of MK, JS would have vehemently opposed the use of the MK manifesto by the former president. It was, again, I repeat, disingenuous for the former president to go publicly and use the manifesto of Umkhonto weSizwe as if the people of South Africa are against the ANC, when he said there comes a time in the life of any nation. Comrade Zuma used that deliberately to try and turn around people. But people of this country are not stupid. They know where this organization is coming from. We are here today because of this organization. Mistakes might have been done, but we are on the road to correct those mistakes. Comrade JS, as I conclude, your legacy lives on in the hearts of those you inspired, and your contributions to the struggle for a better world will forever be remembered. Long live Comrade JS, long live Amanda, long live the SACP, long live Amanda, long live Comrade Krisani, long live Amanda.
Slovo no tamba makomanda. Slovo no tamba makere. 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 Wasivusa usinga nami kwavuka lolu lami lokadambuza. Ngakhumbula leya toyitoyi yangalesa sikhathi. Please don't steal our organizations and our legacy. Usho njalo. Umawo used. If you were revolutionary last month and you continued being a revolutionary last week, that was Comrade Mao. Comrades, we are moving far. Makuzokhuluma no General Secretary wethu ningajaha ukuhamba. Yeah. Nenze njengoba nenza kwabanye nibalindayo. Nathi makomane sisicela ukulinda. Comrade the second Deputy President, Comrade Duncan Luvuno, azosinika umyalezo. Asofuna nanebiwe kusasa. You are our COSATU. Thank you very much. Over to you, Comrade Dan.
Long live the SACP, long live. Angeke basitshontshe chair sikhabuliswe yi-SACP, so we are safe maqabane. Comrades, let me take this opportunity to greet abo chairperson bethu ubabili, ngibingelele futhi uGeneral Secretary wethu uSolumapayila. In the same midst, let me also greet the Central Committee of the SACP. Let me greet the African National Congress led by DSG, Comrade Ramkhupa Nyabingelele. Let me also greet comrades COSATU, all the trade unions that are here. I'm extending greetings, and I've seen the chair of COSATU in Gauteng, Comrade Amos. Ngokhulu khethekile comrade, let me greet yourselves, members, comrade, of the Alliance, whom are here, whom have taken time that to want to be here, perpetually to be reminded about this icon of our revolution, Comrade Slovo. Let me also greet our brothers and comrades, international brothers and comrades, not guests, as the chair is perpetually correcting us, comrade. Comrade, it is never easy to have this popular program year in, year out, and still have relevancy. Hence, it is important that we must commend the chair, as well as Comrade to PS and their collective, the PC. The message that I'm bringing to the fore from the COSATU Central Executive Committee, Communist Party, Vumanibo. Siantanda nani Vumanibo. Siantanda the MK Young Impela Vumanibo. Comrade, let me greet Comrade Mzwandile, the Secretary of the UFASIMBA and the PYA structures that are here. What comrades I think will sustain us, maybe before I get to the remarks, is that we need the chair to continue. We need Umkhabulo now more than ever, so that we are able to save time when we are talking and speak about people that are non-entities that are not there, that are not here. If we perpetuate and intensify Umkhabulo, uzosinceda comrades, because we'll spend more time talking about the real controversies. We'll spend more time speaking about the solutions which are needed by ourselves as an alliance, and not talk about Abanyabantu, comrade. As we gather, comrade, here, our movement, the working class, the state, and all of us as the nation, who are faced by great challenges. Of course, the majority of these challenges that we are having, they emanate from centuries of racist, colonial, and apartheid rule. But equally, comrades, some they emanate from our own failings, and we cannot be absolved for that, comrade. Hence, we are perpetually and intensively supporting a reconfigured comrade DSG, a reconfigured alliance, not because we want to reduce the ANC, as some are saying, what is spelling that notion with the contempt that it deserves. Because in the past or previously during the hard times, we were able to work side by side. What has changed now? Working side by side has afforded us an opportunity to come with a plethora of solutions. We're having problems, comrades, whereby we can't confront each other because we are saying that there's a big brother of which we cannot have that, comrade. We're having MK, the real MK that is here now that has addressed us. It was a brainchild of the SACP and the ANC, Comrade Chinoli. Hence we are saying that not even a single component in the alliance has that monopoly of wisdom to come up with the solution that are facing our people here. Hence, we need this listening and reconfigured alliance as equal partners, comrades. It is never easy to imagine what a comrade would have felt or done had he been alive to witness our challenges. But we can reflect on the example set by Comrade JS under times far more difficult than those that we are encountering now in the democratic dispensation. Siyasibuza comrade ukuthi ke tina were told by the party ukuthi uJoe Slovo believed heavily who open discussion. He believed in honesty. Also, he believed in coming with alternatives and solutions. So the question will be, what will Comrade JS said if asibona comrade singakwazi uku-approachana ngize comrade national chair ourselves as abasebenzi sicabanga ukuthi kune-solution ethize laphiyana kunefsasa. Ngabe uthini uJoe Slovo if we are not being able ourselves first and foremost to approach each other and say, comrade osiphethe laphiyana ku-labor or comrade osiphethe lapha in this particular department, within ourselves, and not utilize these platforms to be busy rubbishing each other and speaking about these things. We should be comrading and enjoying. It's because, comrade, we must learn from Comrade Joe Slovo. It is more relevant now than it was before. We ask ourselves as workers that what will have Joe Slovo said if we are seeing in this dispensation ourselves, we cannot come and sit around one room, comrade, and discuss our issues. We have to even fight among ourselves with our government as workers and win issues in court. As workers, comrade, because we think it's important so that we are having more time to discuss behind closed doors and not rubbish each other in these platforms, comrade. Because we have seen even funerals are used to speak up, to insult each other because we're not creating a space so that we can be able to talk about each other, comrades. As the COSATU, comrade, we have decided that we'll go with the African National Congress in this year, comrade, in the election, with the party as an alliance, all of us, comrade. We are not saying that it is hunky-dory, we are not saying that there are no challenges. But we are confident, actually, being inspired by the past that we come from, that we'll even overcome what is confronting us, comrade. We'll make sure that the ANC wins with overwhelming majority because ourselves, first and foremost, as the working class and the poor, we stand to lose a lot, comrade. We are saying this, comrade, because we are enjoying ourselves as workers under Labor Relations Act, which, comrade, they are best in the world. But we are not hearing other organizations, Mickey Mouse organizations, saying that we are supporting workers. They want to scrap what we have gained. Those democratic gains, comrade, we must defend them at all costs because ourselves as working class, we stand to benefit more. We have something to build on, comrade. About official, comrade, no good scale, about ifuni NHI. Comrades, because they are saying that they want this status quo. Let's say now we're having an accident. We get banned, God forbid, a number of us. They are going to take me with the medical aid, comrade, and take me to Discover. And take the comrade next to me and put him to an institution whereby is 20 kilometers away compared to a Discovery, which is closer here, comrade. What is that? They are openly saying they don't want NHI. So we are saying that it will benefit ourselves, the working class and the poor. Hence, we are saying that secure victory ANC and then sit down and say, comrade, as we're able, it was not by accident that we're able to liberate this country, comrade, it's because we're working together. Angeke sikhulume ke comrade lena Mickey Mouse toy social, comrade. We're not going to talk about that. We want to dwell much on coming with solutions and alternatives on issues. Ourselves, comrade, we vehemently believe that Comrade Joe Slovo will be proud of the strides successively that we have amassed in this administration, comrade. Among other issues, comrade, we are having a minimum wage under the government of the African National Congress, comrade. We are having, comrade, the social relief packages that have been afforded and made available in response to COVID-19 under this democratic dispensation. So we're saying that, comrade, masingakhohliswa abantu. Let's go and work very hard. We're not agreeing on everything. But even as comrades. So let's make sure that we go out there, more especially ourselves, the working class and the poor, that we defend the NTR case that we've amassed. Amanda! Away, thank you, Boche, Dr. President.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yabona ke nayi height revolution the Congress. Let me how to finish the this is the revolutionary height. Thanks, second Deputy President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Comrades, I'm now going to call upon the representative of umbutho wethu omkhulu, as siwubiza ngayo sometimes, the African National Congress. I'm going to call the second Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Marupin Ramokhupa. President, let's correct Tanjani. We are not Ramokhupa. We are Ramokhupa. Yes, Comrade second DSG, come and give us the message from the African National Congress. Malbongwe!
Amanda! Long live the spirit of Joe Slovo, long live. Long live the spirit of Krizani, long live. Ripilele, General Secretary of SACP, Comrade Solima Paila, Ripilele. Viva, viva the alliance, viva. Viva, viva the real Umkhonto wesizwe, viva. Thank you very much, Comrade Chairperson and the co-chairperson, the acting chairperson, who's also the co-chairperson of this event. Let me take this opportunity, of course, to greet the leadership of the South African Communist Party, led by the General Secretary, Comrade Solima Paila. Also greet his collective, which is the SACP leadership that we have here today. All of you, I recognize you. I also the Young Communist League and the entire PYA. Also greet the leadership or the membership of the diplomatic corps as it was here today, including the regions and the branches that are here. I cannot speak much about the centrality and the strength of us making sure that the alliance work as it should. It becomes important, Comrade Chairperson, precisely because ours remains making sure that the objective of the NDR do come to fruition so that we can be able to realize the National Democratic Society. That will, of course, be able to make sure that the shackles that we have been living under will be done away with so that we can get a total freedom that will allow us to be able to do what we need to do. Comrade Chairperson, I know that you spoke about the new terms that we are using of poverty and all those things that you mentioned. I'm probably going to read them here in the speech that I have, but maybe you should just listen and then now listen with the ears that say, I'm saying what you said, but in a different language. I bring to you greetings and well wishes from the NEC of the African National Congress that is currently meeting in Mbombela in preparations for the 112th celebration and January 8th statement outlining the program for the year ahead. The ANC joins the SACP in the 29th commemoration with pride and gratitude for Joe Slovo, who was one of the esteemed leaders that we really hold dear. Comrade Joe Slovo was awarded his Twala and Siaparangwe Award by President Mandela at the 49th conference of the ANC in Mangaung in December 1994 in recognition of his outstanding contribution to the struggle for the total eradication of apartheid crime against humanity and the transformation of South Africa into a united, democratic, non-racial and non-sexist society. In recognizing the immense role played by Comrade Slovo, President Mandela had this to say in our open quote: Your contributions to our struggle are many, but it is, I think, especially a strategic thinker that you are, that we hold dear by so many in our ranks. You have played a role, often a central role, in most of the outstanding strategic documents of our struggle. In the decade of exile, I know that yours was a crucial role in the regrouping and consolidation of Umkhonto weSizwe. You have always been able to respond practically and dynamically to changing circumstances. You have had courage of your convictions, spelling out the implication of new situation which sometimes we as a movement have found hard to admit. I think most recently of your contributions to analyzing the complex negotiation processes, and I close quote. This was a testament to Comrade Joe Slovo, militant and unwavering commitment to the African National Congress, which embodied the principles and values which we wish to honor here today. As one of the giants of our liberation struggle and one of the founders of the democratic state, having also served in the first cabinet after the 1994 elections, and rallying call for us to recommit the alliance to the pursuit of the NDR. This commemoration is particularly important given the current developments locally and globally. To commemorate this 29th and the broader struggle of the liberation, Comrade JS, as lovely known and referred to, with a very democracy and in making sure that equality becomes something that we see in our lifetime. The ANC-led government has to escalate service delivery to the most marginal. We will have to contend with. We have recently concluded a comprehensive manifesto review which was taking stock of how we have done in implementing the 2019 election manifesto. The process was an honest one, which gave us an opportunity to be able to account and also make a self-review to the people. In 2024, which is this year, of course, our country will be celebrating 30 years of democracy. And indeed, South Africa is much better than it was in 1994. The ANC has a beacon, or it remains the beacon of hope for millions of our people, a vehicle for change that Comrade JS dedicated his life to. In this crucial election, comrades, let us renew our commitment to the ideals that define our movement. Let us rally behind the ANC and the alliance all together and ensure that our vision for a united and prosperous South Africa endures. As we pay tribute to Comrade JS today, let his spirit guide us in the days and the custodians of the ANC legacy and the Alliance legacy carry the torch of justice and equality forward, ensuring that the dreams of our forebears become the reality of generations to come. I was just joking to Comrade General Secretary again, saying that you can see that I'm old because I did not recognize the young Ufa Simba National Secretary, because those that I grew up with are now having white heads. So definitely making sure that we do make sure that the generation to come become what we want to see, or what we would have loved to see become a reality, and it is very important. In the same breath, comrades, I want to take this opportunity to reaffirm the ANC's solidarity with Palestine. We have always remained on the side of the oppressed. As a liberation movement representing the interest and aspiration of the oppressed, disenfranchised and marginalized, I urge structures of the movement to continue intensifying solidarity actions on the ongoing war in Gaza. The ANC-led government has approached the International Court of Justice under the Genocide Convention with respect to acts committed by Israel in context of its attack to Gaza. Cabinet directed that the ICJ in The Hague be approached to obtain an order directing Israel, which is also a state party, to refrain from any acts that may constitute genocide or related crimes under the convention. And I'm glad to say that the team led by Comrade Lamola will be leaving to represent us. And when you look at who constitute it, we've got the best of the best. Therefore, we remain confident that we will come up with something. Because from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Comrades, today as we reflect on the legacy of a giant of our history, Comrade Joe Slovo, we find ourselves standing at an intersection of history and responsibility. Comrade Joe was not just a leader, He was a visionary, a strategist, and a tireless advocate for justice. His life offers us profound lessons in leadership, and lessons that should guide us not only as African National Congress and the Alliance and the South African Communist Party or the COSATU, but all those who strive for a better, more equitable world. He dedicated his life, comrades, to the struggle against apartheid, demonstrating a resilience that was unyielding in the face of adversity. In our leadership roles, we must be steadfast in our commitment to justice, equality, and the well-being of our people as a whole. Let Comrade Joe's example remind us that true leaders are those who weather storms and stay true to their convictions. I would also not like to talk about what has been happening, but we leave it to the leadership of the real Umkhonto weSizwe to show us what it means to really stay true to the convictions that they've taken. Comrade Slovo embodied the essence of collective leadership. He understood that struggles for liberation required unity and cooperation. The alliance must be strengthened to address the multifaceted challenges our nation faces. In honoring Comrade Slovo's legacy, let us remain committed to making sure that we build bridges, fostering inclusivity, and working towards common goals. Additionally, Comrade Slovo's life teaches us that importance of adaptability and strategic thinking. In the face of shifting political landscape, he demonstrated an ability to adapt his strategies while remaining true to the core principles of justice and equality. As leaders, we must, and members of society, of course, because leaders and members of society are one thing. We must embrace change, anticipate challenge, and evolve our approaches to meet the needs of times, all while anchoring in the values that define who we are as a nation. To honor Comrade Joe Slovo's legacy, the Tripartite Alliance must actively engage in the ongoing struggle for socio-economic justice. We must redouble our efforts to eradicate poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Comrade Slovo's commitment to a just and equitable society should guide our policies and actions as we work towards building a South Africa where all citizens enjoy the fruits of freedom. Some will definitely call it a society that espouses the principles of what we are all here about, which is socialism. But we can call it something else, but it is the same thing. Furthermore, we must invest in the education and empowerment of future leaders. Comrade Slovo's impact extended beyond his time, and our responsibility is to ensure leaders who carry the torch forward. In conclusion, Comrade Chairperson, as we remember Comrade Joe Slovo today, let us not merely reflect but act. The leadership qualities he exemplified. The Alliance as custodians of this struggle and the NDR must honor Comrade Joe Slovo's legacy by tirelessly working towards a South Africa his life too. And it is quite heartwarming that at least last year, although not enough, we have been able to meet, although not as the entire allowance, but the ANC has been able to meet with SACP ourselves too, as we make sure that the NDR become the objective that we put our lives towards does happen as much as possible. We are saying this, comrades, because in the past, the policies that we need to see to be able to intervene in the lives of our people does become the center stage. So we do agree indeed that no matter what, for allowing us as the NEC to come and talk to you here today, and we will make sure that the memory of Comrade Joe Slovo lives on, and we will make sure that what he stood for and what he left us and what he taught us does become what is the guiding star that we follow in whatever it is that we do. With that, let me say, long live the spirit of Comrade Joe Slovo, long live. Amandla, away to.
Amandla! Thank you very much, Comrade Second DSG. We are not rubbing it in, but we want to really thank you because most of the time when we have this event, the ANC never sends us a national official. So we want to thank you that also when you were asked you left the NEC. It's an important NEC to come here. But also pass it to the rest of the ANC leadership. Next year, we must Slovo. Also, bangasithumelela a national official as they have done today. We really appreciate that. But I thought before we introduce the Comrade GS, just to ask everyone that comrades will stand of the Palestinian people who are being butchered by the Israelis, who have passed away. Let's have a moment of silence, comrades. Amandla. Amandla. Khona ama comrades abengathule lapha sesingahlala phansi maqabane. Lento eyenzeka ePalestine is unimaginable. Ukubhonjwa nje every day. They've just flattened everything. Nokubulala izingane nabantu besifazane.
That are present here, where you are also recognized. And our structures, even in the district here, Linda Jabani district, was one of our, this is a Heroes Acre where we are, where cadres of Umkhonto Wesizwe, as I look that side, I see Nyanda, that's Zweli Nyanda, the younger brother to Comrade Spiwe Nyanda, where fighters of our liberation struggle are laid to rest. Let me greet the leadership of the ANC, led by Comrade Second Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Maruping Ramukhopa, and thank you very much for making time. Indeed, I joined the national chair. We hardly have senior leaders coming here. The last senior leader to come here was the Deputy President, then Cyril Ramaphosa. Otherwise, the officials do not want to come here. Thank you very much for breaking this, and we appreciate. The president, actually, I had a brief discussion with him this morning on my way here. He was still in Mpumalanga. He had once committed that he will make sure that there's a senior leader all the time here. When he came here, that time when he was still deputy president. All leaders of the ANC, Comrade Nomanto from the province, also who serves as our MEC, Comrade Ramukhopa also serves as a minister. The leadership of COSATU, led by Comrade Duncan, Luvuno's second deputy president, who also gave a wonderful message here. We started the program with him in the morning. We visited cooperatives here in Tladi, in Soweto, Naledi. And we've already discussed some of the outcomes of those co-op programs today with the deputy provincial chairperson of the ANC, Comrade Nomanto. So we're already taking forward the interventions of this program. And all the leaders of COSATU present from various affiliates, and the chairperson of COSATU in the province, Comrade Munyela. And the leadership of all our structures, the Young Communist League, National Secretary, as well as office bearers of the National Committee of the Young Communist League. I've seen the National Treasurer from a distance, and all members of the National Committee present here. Comrade Dan Hatu from Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans. Thank you very much as well for the message you delivered here today, the content of the message. But I want to say something to the Communist Party, our structures across provinces. In all our public gatherings, we must accord to Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans a platform to speak. It should be standard. Umkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War Veterans, including as well as the ANC War Veterans League, they are not ordinary leagues. They are in a different category of the leagues, whether it's the ANC Women's League, Youth League, Young Communist League, and other MDM formations. These were special, particularly controversies were Liberation War veterans. It's a consequence of a special organ of the liberation movement, our armed wing. So it's important that they are all the time accorded platforms to engage with our structures. And also we are able to listen to the issues that they are raising, particularly the living conditions of former cadres of Umkhonto weSizwe. Let me recognize the leadership of the liberation movement in Swaziland, Comrade Kenny, Kenny Kunene, not the other Kenny Kunene of South Africa. Kenny Kunene, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Swaziland, who's in exile, as well as Comrade Mlungisi Makhanya, President of Pudemo, and the leadership of Pudemo present here. We appreciate that you are here, and of course I'll talk about this question of Swaziland in my notes. And greet all comrades from our revolutionary embassies. Ambassador Enrique from the heroic people of Cuba, revolutionary Cuba. I'll speak about Cuba briefly in my notes, but safe to say, the Cuban Revolution is an international revolution. That's why that revolution cannot be defeated by imperialism, because it symbolizes and it represents all of us, the oppressed people in the world, who are fighting for freedom and for a better life. That revolution, even the Cubans have learned to accept this, doesn't only belong to Cuba, but to the rest of the world. The delegation from the Venezuelan embassy, you can see I'm wearing a cap from Venezuela. This is a message about a strategic mission in Venezuela today, which I'll also briefly talk about in my notes, because of imperialist forces that want to divide that country. This message, it goes like Venezuela toda, the whole of Venezuela, the whole entity of Venezuela. No separation, no occupation by foreign forces or imperialist forces to try and divide the country of Venezuela. And the comrade from the embassy of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, Western Sahara, as well as from Palestine, Comrade Bassam. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming, and Bassam for giving us the message as well. Comrades, we framed our message in memory of Joe Slovo, who I also want to acknowledge and greet Sis Helena Dolny in her absence, given the apology she rendered today, and the family of Comrade Joe Slovo. We crafted our message as defending the national democratic revolution and deepening the working class struggle to end the capitalist crisis of social reproduction, in memory of Comrade Joe Slovo, Commander Joe Slovo. We remember Joe Slovo, the internationalist, the strategist, the intellectual, the soldier, the revolutionist. And we pledge in his internationalist content our unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people in their just cause for the return of their entire occupied and expropriated land and for their national self-determination under conditions of freedom. Since its latest genocidal campaign on Palestine territory, particularly in the Gaza Strip, from the 8th of October last year, the Israel apartheid settler state has killed over 23,000 people and wounded close to 60,000 Palestinians in Gaza. Majority of these are children, babies, women, civilians. They left many paralyzed, arrested thousands. They killed journalists. Over 110 journalists dead. Largely Palestinian journalists who are covering their genocide. There are still many others Palestinians who are still unaccounted for. Some are possibly still in the rubbles. In their barbaric and unacceptable and indiscriminate genocidal bombardment of Gaza, the apartheid Israeli leaders have spared no hospitals, churches and mosques, and have wiped entire families in Gaza. What Comrade Bassam calls the other Nakba, another catastrophe. The world cannot stand idle and only activate instruments that are ineffective when the people of Gaza are facing these atrocities and brutality from the apartheid Israeli state. We stand in absolute solidarity with the Palestinian people, especially the heroic people in Gaza and the entire axis of resistance in the Middle East. The resistance in Lebanon, led by Hezbollah, the resistance in Yemen, the resistance in Syria, in Iraq, and in the unmatched frontier of Iran. And this apartheid Israeli state will be defeated. There's no way they can ever taste victory. The blood of the Palestinian children will nurture more resistance, and that's what they need to know. We denounce as the SACP this genocide of Palestinian people in the strongest terms possible, and we support the efforts to hold these terrorist leaders accountable. It is in this regard that we welcome the initiative of the South African government to take apartheid Israel regime to The Hague through the International Court of Justice in order to stop them from continuing the genocide of Palestinian children. We appreciate the leadership of the ANC in this regard, and especially of our National Executive, the Cabinet, and we thank Comrade President for this initiative. We hold indeed, comrades, this anniversary of Comrade Joe Slovo, the 29th anniversary of Comrade Joe Slovo, as our national chairperson indicated, on the 30th anniversary of our democratic breakthrough. This democratic breakthrough was not easy. That's why we characterized it as democratic breakthrough 1994 moment. This 2024 elections is their 1994 moment. Democratic breakthrough, we characterize it to mean that whilst the people of this country managed to have access to political office, it was going to be a long haul to really transform our society and our country. We only have ability to democratize the country. Now, the people have to understand what democracy is about. Democracy is power. Democracy is not an instrument of punishment. It's an instrument of development that enhances the collective well-being of the people. We need to use it effectively. Slovo, was a founder member of Umkhonto weSizwe, as Comrade then indicated clearly. And together here we see commissars and commanders of Umkhonto weSizwe, some lying here in the Heroes Acre, where we are celebrating him. He fought together with these combatants so that our people can determine their own destiny. The determination of our destiny through a democratic means requires us to respect the notion of democracy, not allow democracy to be utilized only by the rich, those with money who want to confuse the people so that they can continue to occupy offices and the people never improve their lives. So it is therefore important that public offices are occupied by conscious revolutionaries who will be able to direct the mission of the people and deepen democracy so that it becomes people's democracy, not just merely representative democracy. One of the tasks of the alliance itself is to deepen and mature our democracy into a people's democracy, so that we are not easily disrupted by people with too much money. For instance, let me just give you an example. The US government, its budget exceeds 30 trillion US dollars. They are running a deficit budget of 34 trillion US dollars. The entire GDP of the African continent is not even 4 trillion US dollars. Ningizwile manje mawuzokompita ngemali, i-US izawufaka i-1 trillion la, 1 trillion US dollars. Izayithatha yonke idemocracy ama-country wenu ngegama le-democracy ngoba nikho conscious. Akekho onwankulu ozocabanga ukuthi he will lead the people astray athathe country yethu ngenxa yokuthi unemali. We should not accept that thing. That is why it's important forces of the liberation movement, the democratic movement in our country, needs to come together and defend this democracy. These coming elections, it's an election about the capture of democracy in South Africa and whether we will have freedom or not as this country. This is how the stakes are. Now, commanders and commissars of Umkhonto weSizwe, those of the fourth pillar of our revolution, this fourth pillar said, you are prepared to die for the freedom of the people. If you enjoy that freedom, so be it. If you read here in some of the gravestones of our departed combatants from the special unit of Umkhonto weSizwe, commanded directly by Commander Joe Slovo and Bani Mulokwane, they say it clearly. When we meet on the battlefield, there will be no grass. When we meet on the battlefield, there will be no grass. And they say they will not retreat. These are the combatants of Umkhonto weSizwe who fought for this democracy that we are enjoying today. Therefore, we cannot allow the abuse of the name of Umkhonto weSizwe, the glorious people's army. I do share extremely the feeling of Comrade Dan and the leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe Liberation War veterans, particularly about the abuse of this date of December 16 and the use of our manifesto to put the arms against the African National Congress and the democratic government. On what basis? On what basis do we launch a war against the democratic government? We have said as a Communist Party, this is a simple democratic government. We characterize the space as democratic breakthrough. We are a revolutionary communist party. What we aspire is 10 times more or even 100 times more than what we have already achieved. And yet, it will be incorrect for us to dispose of the democratic government for our sheer petty interest. We must mobilize the masses. I agree with you, National Chair. The mass conscientization of the people about the value of socialism. Why socialism is important. But to utilize the oath that we took under arms in the name of the African National Congress, we renounce all other previous association and participation in the ANC when you joined Umkhonto weSizwe. You rejoined the ANC, I knew DSG. You took an oath under MK with the political leadership of the African National Congress. That's the oath we took. That's the oath. Part of it was read on December 16 to disparage the African National Congress. It can only be taken seriously in that context by those who did not understand that particular oath or by ill-disciplined lumpens. Our oath, we took an oath to die for the people of our country and to serve the interests of the liberation movement, not to divide the liberation movement, not to attack it. It is therefore, comrades, important that this coming period, the next 6 months in this country, are going to be crucial for us. In memory of Comrade Joe Slovo, all communists to the front line. Back to the front. All communists to the front line to defend the National Democratic Revolution, to defend the ANC itself. We have big issues we raise with the ANC. But we do not want an ANC that is dead. We do not want to participate in killing the African National Congress. We want to strengthen it. This is an organization that gave the highest sacrifices in the liberation struggle of our country. That is why we also need to raise an issue, in particular, to address South Africans. That sometimes it's important that we celebrate not only achievements, but we come together to confront common challenges. In materialism, dialectical materialism, our philosophy of Marxism, we know that nothing stays the same. Things change. So the movement itself has gone through a period of difficulties. We can have ideas and views why we went through these particular difficulties, why we couldn't avoid certain difficulties. But nonetheless, whatever difficulties that we face, we have to confront them collectively as a society. You must know what you're gonna lose. You know, and I don't want the media to misread this point, but I have to make it. I can't self-censor myself. You understand sometimes why on the African continent there's been destabilization continuously post-liberation. Because of petty interest of leaders. Now, South Africa, be careful about that. This African National Congress, the ANC and its allies, COSATU and the SACP of Slovo, have united this country. There are challenges in this process of unity, of building one nation, building a non-racial South Africa that is visible everywhere. It's not an easy task to undo the colonial legacy of over 500 years. in just few decades. And yet, we need to accelerate the pace of revolutionary interventions. And therefore, we must engage, as we were engaging, for instance, collectively in the Alliance, in the manifesto review process, consulting the people. We must then be able, as a state, tell the people what is the capacity of the state, what are the weaknesses of the state, what is it that the state can do, what is that the state cannot do. Because an impression has been created that only the state can solve everything. No, you cannot have a revolution like that. That is a godly program, not a humanly program, where everything can be done by somebody else. No. In a revolution, the masses must get involved in the execution and prosecution of the revolution itself. The government must be helped by the masses. Let's look at the achievement that we've made and the reversals on those achievements. What are the people doing about this thing? So I'm challenging the intellectuals in this country, the middle strata, because the middle strata particularly benefited significantly more in this dispensation, to come with ideas to provide solutions to the challenges that we face as a country. I think we should also, as a liberation movement, overall practice what one characterizes as emancipatory politics, not patronage and subservient politics of domination and hegemony. In other words, we need to practice politics that frees the individual. There's an impression here in this country that, for instance, if you were to ever do anything worthwhile, there must be some government involved. We are breaking that thing. We want communities from street level to community level, in the townships, in villages, for people to begin to understand the concept of self-reliance and independence. When we're coming out of apartheid oppression for a national independence, we're also characterizing individual independence. That's the concept of freedom, where we can do things for ourselves. And when the state is there, augment what we do as a people. So the state must itself gear to be a provider of services to the people and assist the people to realize themselves. So in other words, the state must not decapitate itself or cut itself and think that the private sector will provide services to the people. It has never worked. Not anywhere else in the world. Even in bourgeois countries, whether you go to the US, in Europe, they've never started in the manner that we want to start, that capital should have a predominant role in the economy and the livelihood of the people. It cannot work. Capital has no interest whether somebody is eaten or not. Capital has interest whether you have money, you can afford to buy a product that they provide. That's all what they care about. It's business. The state has to care about the well-being of everybody. It is in this regard that we are calling all organizations of various democratic forces, particularly from within our alliance, to go beyond just the mere manifesto, but in our manifesto process to make sure that as we go to plan for the 2024 elections, we also put the interests of the working class at the core, beyond just the mere mention of the manifesto. In other words, we need a transformative and developmental policies that will tackle and end the unemployment crisis as an apex priority in our country through primarily a public sector funding and initiative. We cannot continue to read you the many statistics of unemployed people in our country. Under capitalism, there can be no other difference. Capitalism creates an army of unemployed labor. That's its task, because from that army of unemployed labor, it can draw cheap labor. That's why we need a committed public sector that will create jobs and work for the people. South Africa, comrade, will not afford the same policies that we have created or we have introduced over the last few years, because these policies have not responded to the core challenges facing our country. In other words, we have had a situation where the macroeconomic policy framework, what we call fiscal policy, the policy of budget, that is the policy of budget that is controlled by the National Treasury, as well as the monetary policy, the money policy, are not working together. That is why America can have this 34 trillion US dollars in deficit. And we come here and complain that our deficit is too high. What is too high? In other words, American government should be bankrupt. It's fundamentally bankrupt. So we can't base our policies on the basis of the US system. That system, it's not conditional to our own conditions here in South Africa. And therefore, to resolve the problems that we have, we need a policy overall on the macroeconomic framework that deals with this fiscal and monetary policy, so that we can then deal with this crisis of unemployment in our country. We also need committed industrialization led by the state. And this committed industrialization will have to take place with us fiddling fundamentally with the fiscal policy. For instance, we have had too much wealth tax in this country. We have given the rich too much tax breaks, with the idea that the rich, as they get tax breaks, they will invest more. No, they don't. Let's do away with these unnecessary tax breaks for the corporates. The Freedom Charter, for instance, envisions a critical role of the state in the banking sector. For 30 years, in our hard-won democratic dispensation, we have not yet established a single state bank since our transition from apartheid. This, comrade, we must rectify. We need state banks, multiple state banks. Comrade Jacob Mamabolo, I hear you are the MEC of Finance here in the province of Gauteng. We need state bank, the Gauteng State Bank. If you don't know how to do it, I'll give you a simple workshop how to set it up. It's a simple process, this one. It should be done, Minashu. We need multiple state banks across various sectors. I had a sector campaigns cancel, the NEDLEC entity. I left that position early this year in March. So, last year March. Last year March. So I had to share with them my experience as the chair and the difficulties on financial sector transformation in the country. And the World Bank, as well as the company called PricewaterhouseCoopers. They've got a unit that does financial research. They have highlighted the top 100 companies in the world. You can go and search them. They are available on yes, if Google will become great if it was in the hands of the working class. But it's now even been utilized by Israel to attack the Gaza people. So these technologies. But the point, I was 15 in this top 100. Of these 15, 6 are public sector financial companies. These are banks, but from 100 companies of the world. And of the 15 companies that are there that are financial sector, 6 of them are Chinese, all public finance institutions. 5 banks, 1 insurance company. State entities. Why are we condemning state entities?
And that's why China can end poverty and declare to the world that we have ended abject poverty. America cannot do the same. People sleeping under bridges as hobos. That's why when Fidel Castro addressed the non-alignment movement, when he was handing sanitation, every other thing, when they suffer their eyes closed, they are doomed to fail. They will never resolve fundamental crises and problems facing our society. That is why a liberation movement that is committed, the message that we need to send to the ANC and its allies, that includes the Communist Party, is that our people cannot take it anymore. Because we bureaucratize the revolution. If, for instance, we are not able to tackle capitalism system, capitalism is not a system for humanity. It's a system for the delinquents of humanity. Capitalism, I'm a fan of modern socialism. One said, just characterizing this system that is called capitalism. In fact, let me quote another statistics because it might be less than 10% of that. But the problem is that all this money is controlled by the capitalists. That's why Karl Marx say, and he said this thing many decades, almost 2 centuries. He says, there must be something rotten in the very core of a social system which increases its wealth without diminishing its misery. So this system built 106 trillion US dollars. That's too much money for you to live in absolute heaven, all human beings. And yet the misery of the world is too much. Even this wars that capital has unleashed across the world is precisely because it continues to amass more resources. Capitalism is a rotten system. We have to defeat it, certainly. To law as soon as possible.
Comrade Blade. Number 3 is Comrade, in my opinion, Comrade Tulas. Row number 4 will be the second Deputy President of COSATU. You are number 2 with Comrade Matani.
83%.
Deputy President of COSATU, together with the President of Pudemo, Comrade Makanya, is still here. Comrade Mlungis, yes, come. You are number 3. Comrade Deputy President, come stand behind here. You will be with the President of Pudemo. Comrade Den Hatu, with the Cuban ambassador, please come and join this row. Comrade Dan, please come. It won't be long. Comrade Mlungis, you are in the row with the Deputy President. Comrade Dan, Comrade Ambassador, this side. Comrade Mzwandile and the Palestinian Deputy Ambassador, YCL National Secretary and Palestinian. And the last one, I want to call upon the Communist Party of Swaziland, the Comrade Kenneth, as well as the Belgian Communist Party. The Communist Party of Belgium, please come. As they do the wreath laying, Comrade Kosi, can you please come and announce where is food? Because the national chair has promised that the people must eat. So while this is happening, Comrade Kosi will announce, make few announcements, including food. Comrade Kosi.
Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy Chair and the National Chairperson. Comrades, as we go outside this area, on our entrance, there's a team of caterers that are going to serve all of us. So please, comrades will be served by the district where they are coming from. But at the same time, if there's
So comrades, this brings us to the end of the program. It will be important that we do not disturb this process. Maybe comrades can come and observe this process before they can go to for food. Thank you very much, comrades. This brings us to the end of the program. Amanda.
Comrades, if you want to take pictures, not the other side, not the back. It's only media fella by local. That other side. Sorry, comrades. No, I'm not far from media check. Sharp. Yes, I'm not far. I'm close to media. Okay, sharp. It's okay. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, useduzana. Useduzana, ula emva kwakho.
It's not far from media.
Yeah, ula emva kwakho.